How's it going, everybody? It's Matt again, and today we're going to talk about another New Age Transformer, a Legend Scale third party offering. So this time it's going to be New Age H69 William. So this is their Sunstreaker. He is again one of their little car bots. I've been really looking forward to this guy because Legend Scale has been suffering without a Sunstreaker for quite a while. So this is the first real Legend Scale version that we have of this character. So there is from the front, there is from the bottom, from the side. There he is from the back riding Skywarp for some reason. But yeah, tiny little box, same size as all their other car bots. He's displayed in car mode, so yeah, decent little box. He is, of course, going to come with his standard set of instructions for New Age. They're decent little CAD renderings. He is going to come with this, which is a key to Vector Sigma spudger. So it's a little tool, which is kind of cool. It's got like a little prying part here, which is kind of nice. They didn't have to include this, but sure, thanks, I guess. They did. So, got a new spudger. He is going to come with another Build-A-Figure part for Autobot Spike, or whatever his name was. I don't remember. But it's another part for that. It does have the little shoulder joint here. It is a double jointed elbow, but this secondary joint is really tight, but it can get you about that far. It does rotate at the elbow too. And then I think, yeah, you can pull this part off for whatever reason. There's really no paint on this thing. I think maybe the white's painted. I think it's all just bare plastic. But now that we have another part, we can bring all the other parts that we have from everybody else. I think this one was from Wheeljack, this was from Hound, and this was from Trailbreaker. So you can just plug that on there. And I think we just need 2 more parts, right? We just need 1 more leg and then the head, and then he'll be done. So there we have that. And he's also going to come with his little gun for bot mode, which is painted, which is nice. You can see it's kind of got like that glossy finish for the gun. So yeah. But of course, here he is, and he rolls really well. He's a car. But yeah, teeny tiny little car, Hot Wheel sized, like all their other car bots have been. It's beautifully painted. All of that yellow is painted. Nice metallic blue for the windshield and everything. Nice kind of chrome, not really chrome, but silver painted spoiler and intake manifolds for the engine. But yeah, on the back, it doesn't have painted tail lights really, like whatever, headlights and all that. But yeah, decent. Little plastic wheels. They look all right. There he is from the bottom. He cleans up pretty well. But yeah, decent, nice little car. I think he looks the part. New Age, of course, pulling it off with the beautiful paint jobs. He is quite panely though. But you know, he's a light colored New Age car, so of course he's gonna have a lot of panels showing. It's just kind of something that New Age always does. They just have a lot of panels. But let's just jump right into transformation. So we're gonna lift this section here. The spoiler has 2 parts here. One part kind of dovetails into the other. So you want to lift up the right side and just move them out of the way. And then you're going to rotate down here to move this part out of the way like this. And then the little engine section here, you're going to lift up, just kind of get that out of the way. And then we're just going to kind of split them in half. So pull on this, and this little double joint, you're going to pull that out. And then getting this engine section out of the way, you're going to split this in half. And you're just going to kind of rotate the whole thing around. And I think I might be wrong here. Sorry. Pull this all the way out like this. And then these are going to just rotate around on these double joints. Just be mindful of that spoiler until they rotate around like so. And then these spoiler sections you're going to rotate up the other way like this. And then, remember how I'm doing this correctly. And then these shoulder parts, you're going to unplug from here. And you're just going to kind of extend the elbow parts down like this. this tiny little panel is going to come up and fill in this section, and then this is going to come up like that. Same thing over here. Going to lift all of this up like so, and then this panel is going to come up and fill in that section, and then that's just going to come down like that. And then let me remember, I do actually think I have this wrong. Maybe, yeah. So these you want to keep like this, sorry. And then these are going to come up like that, and then you're going to turn them in like this, like that. Sorry, I had to cut there. My cat started playing with a plastic bag. So these parts, or these shoulders, you can kind of rotate down and make sure these little yellow pieces are lined up. And then this little intake part is going to just kind of come back like, I think it comes back farther than this. Should, yeah, there you go. You want it all the way back here like this over these wheels. So let's come down here. So you're going to split this from either side of this center section. You're going to kind of bring everything out. It just kind of undoes itself sometimes, but I'll show it a little bit there. So it comes out in this double joint like this. And then basically these little panels right here, this little yellow panel right here, you want to flip this down like that, and then this little part right here above the mirror, you're going to flip that in, and you're going to kind of pull up on this slider. Come on, camera. Pull up on that slider for the foot and then angle it up, and then this whole door section here is going to come down on this separate little joint. And then this panel is going to come up, slide down like this, and then this entire assembly here is going to kind of come up past this little panel and just kind of sit up like this, and that panel is going to collapse right there. And then there is a leg. It's kind of cool. And then here, same thing. We're going to slide up on that toe, push it up. This little panel here to push that in. This little panel right here, bring that out. This second little assembly, bring up, fold down that part. It collapses in, and this whole part comes up, and that panel hugs that. And there are the legs. I'm gonna bring them down like this. The front section of the car, just lift that part up. I'm gonna put these little front skirt panels down, and these little back panels, going to bring these in to line up in the center. And then from here, on that same double joint that we split them in half on, you're going to kind of rock this whole thing forwards until it collapses like that. And then this section here, there's this tiny, tiny little piece right here that you need to push out so that it's even right here. And then you take his little thinking cap, put it up, rotate the head around, then you're going to bring it up like this, bring this down like that, and then his little intake thing will peg onto there. And then there he is. There is Sunstreaker. What a cool little transformation. I like it. Honestly, they've been knocking it out of the park with their car bots. They've been doing a really good job. I mean, pretty much all around with all of their releases have been pretty good transformations. But let's talk about his proportions and whatnot. I think that his proportions look decent. I think that his thighs probably could be a little bit larger. He looks a little thin down there. But other than that, he looks pretty good from the front. From the side, I don't know. He's got a hell of a backpack. His legs look pretty good. From the back, he cleans up decent. But all in all, I think he's not too bad. I think it looks decent. I will say, right ahead, he has no heels. So, oh, he stood. Wow, look at that. But if I, wow, bite my own tongue. I've noticed, yes, he teeters a little bit. Just because he doesn't have any heels. But it's not that big of a deal. Because there's nothing going on back there. but I mean, he stands all right from what you just saw. I was having trouble standing him earlier. Maybe I was doing something wrong. But looking at the paint and whatnot, his eyes are nice, that painted blue. The head looks great. His face sculpt looks pretty good. Everything else, of course, everything being painted shows through really nice. It's New Age figures. There's nothing, not too much of a surprise there. But yeah, pretty darn nice. So let's talk about articulation real quick. So his head is on a ball joint, so you can look up quite a bit of flashing underneath there. You can go side to side ever so slightly, nothing down, but you can, of course, rotate his head around, so a little bit of expression there. His shoulders, he has just kind of a pin here in his shoulders, so you can rotate it around, no butterfly or anything like that. This teeny tiny little yellow piece, you can move out of the way so that you can get him a little past 90 degrees. There is a joint up here in the biceps, so you can rotate that around. He does have a double jointed elbow, which you can bend to get 180 degrees, which is great. And he does have wrist articulation on a peg. So that's pretty good. Oh, and of course he can hold his weapon. No problem. I don't know why I struggled so hard to get that in his hand, but he can, of course, hold his weapons. He does have an ab crunch, which looks a little wonky, but it is there. He does have an ab crunch. You can rotate at the waist, no problem. His little front skirts here can move out of the way, which allows his hips to move pretty far forward, which is good. You can move them back about that far, but if you take them out to the side, you can take them a little farther just because of that back piece. His hips do, of course, go out all the way. His hips, or he does rotate at the thigh, which is a little tight, but you can do it. He has a single jointed knee. Can only get 90 degrees, which is, his foot, you can angle it up and down, and then he does have a toe rocker, which is okay. Definitely not my preference. I definitely like full ankle rocks, but he does have a toe rocker. And one thing that I do want to address that a lot of other people have brought up, that I've seen a lot on like TFW and whatnot, is the knees do not lock together at all. Nothing down here locks together. So yeah, that's a shame. None of that locks together. There's no locking at all for any of this. So it's just a mess. But he holds. I mean, he holds, which is good. He stands fine. When you're trying to pose him, just be mindful of how you move him, and it should be okay. If this were a larger figure, that would be a big problem. But because he's small and he's not throwing around a lot of weight, it's fine. But I do want to bring that up. I've seen people complain that he's loose and wobbly and whatnot. It's not with mine. So mine's good. But I do agree that something should lock together here with the knees. Something should. Because the transformation here in the legs is really cool. So that's the only thing that I find to be a little bit of a shame. So they have already announced that they're making cordon and spin out. I'm going to be getting those. So maybe in the future releases that something might be remedied there, maybe a little bit tighter so people don't have bad experiences with the knees. But for me, it's fine. But I just want to bring that up. But I'll clean them up a little bit and we'll do some size comparisons. All right, so size comparison time. Let's show them next to a bunch of stuff. I got a lot of New Age stuff I can show them with. So let's do some other Carbots. How about there is Prowl, and here is Wheeljack, and how about some mini-bots? Let's start with the larger ones. Here he is with Warpath, which is kind of a mini-bot, and then there is Power Glide. And then how about some actual mini-bots here? There we have Swerve and Windcharger. So I got a bunch of stuff. And let's do some other stuff. How about Trailbreaker and Scavenger, or not Scavenger, that's Bone Crusher. And then just because I show him with everything, of course, there is Magic Square Optimus. So it's up to you whether you think that scale fits. He definitely seemed like he's a little far or a little small compared to some of the bigger bots, but all of New Age's car bots have been like that. So at this point, if you're purchasing another New Age car bot, you already know what to expect. I do not have any Magic Square car bots anymore. I ended up selling all of mine, and I just decided to just stick with New Age, just because New Age has been cranking out these car bots, and Magic Square has been left in the dust. So I sold all of those. So I don't have those to compare them with, but I will tell you that they are significantly larger than him. They are like up to Trailbreaker's chest. They're a lot larger. He will probably not look very good next to his other Lambro Magic Squares Sideswipe. So I would probably wait for New Age's Sideswipe to eventually come out to go with him, because he's not going to look good next to him. But there's some size comparisons. All right, so that's going to do it for New Age H69 William, their Sunstreaker. And I have to say, I really like him. No surprise there. I keep buying New Age stuff because I tend to like New Age products. But this guy's just as good. I mean, he's got some little shortcomings here and there. His knees not tabbing together at all. I gotta knock him on that. They really should. Even though he's at this small and it doesn't really affect too much, it is still an issue. He doesn't really have a lot of accessories. I mean, but it's Sunstreaker. I mean, what else is he gonna come with? Maybe the goofy alien mask. I mean, I don't really know what else you would put with him. His articulation is decent. It's just the knees that are just bothersome to me. I don't like how he has toe rockers instead of having true ankle rockers. And him not having any heel spurs, I will say that it took a little bit of finagling just to get him to stand on this rotating base for this segment of the video. He kept falling over, so I had to re-record this a couple of times. And I wouldn't be surprised if he still falls over while I'm talking. And not having anything on the heels, it's a little bothersome. But if he's just standing there, it's not too bad. But the paint on him's great. He looks really good. His transformation's fun, like always. New Age is just kills it with the transformations. They're a fun experience. He's just a fun figure to mess with. He is a bit small. He fits well with New Age's scale, which is pretty well established. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you wanted to display him with any other figures, like namely Magic Square or other Legend scale stuff, he's not going to look quite right with them. So just keep that in mind. There was a lot of controversy with that when it came to Wheeljack, and they've just kind of continued that with this Carbot line. So he is pretty small. Just be prepared for that. The only other thing I got to knock him on is, and I know that this might not age well or whatever, but we are currently in the tariff scare time, and this was the first figure that I had shipped from Show Z, where I got this from. This is the first figure that I had shipped post tariff, and this guy is expensive. I think it was like $58 or something like that, $58 US for this little thing, for a little Hot Wheel sized car. I don't know, because Trailbreaker was just maybe a little bit more than him, and he's like twice the mass. So I don't know how I feel about that massive price jump. It is a high quality figure, I will say that. But just do with that information what you will. The price on these guys is going up, and the quality's there, but it might be a jumping out point for some people. But I'm going to keep getting them. I'm going to keep reviewing them because I have zero self-control. but I just wanted to bring that up. But that's really about it for this guy. I can recommend him. I mean, he's a good figure. I find myself frequently recommending New Age's products anyways. So I'm not blinded by the fact that he's a New Age product, but he just happens to be a good one produced by New Age. But yeah, so that's about it for him. Don't really have much else to talk about with him. But of course, if you made it this far in the video, I really, really appreciate it. Please consider liking the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. If you like watching my stuff, please feel free to go back and check out my playlist with all of my different Transformers reviews. You can watch all of those for more Transformers goodies. But of course, if you want to support me, the best way to do so is going to be via Patreon. So the Patreon is linked in the description. You can check that out. That's not really so much for Transformers stuff, but it's just a way to support me. It's more for like my 3D printing and 3D modeling side of my channel. So if you wouldn't mind, please go check it out. But of course, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.